views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we do encourage you to like and share them and subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, share with your friends. It's the Sue Ellen Sanders Show, weekends on WPSL. And here's your host, Sue Ellen Sanders.
Welcome to the Sue Ellen Sanders Show, and we're so glad you're here. I am talking to some ladies who represent an organization that you may be familiar with. It's called Friends in Pink, and they are both wearing pink today, so that's awesome. And we're going to talk about the organization and its roots. You may have formerly known it as Pink Tie Friends. Robin Young and Bonita Blue are with us today. Did I pronounce your names correctly?
Yes.
Now, this organization is a completely volunteer organization. So you guys are there out of the goodness of your hearts. And let's talk a little bit about the organization and what it does. And then we'll talk about an awesome fundraiser that's coming up toward the end of this month.
Okay. Well, Friends in Pink is a completely volunteer-driven organization. We rely heavily on all of our volunteers. What we do that's different than most of the charities for cancer or breast cancer is we actually pay the bills. So if there's a patient who can't afford their treatment or can't afford any of their surgeries, they can apply to us and we will in turn work on paying their bills, thus saving their lives so they're able to get treatment, whereas they may not have been able to in the past because they didn't have the funds to be able to do that. We've been in operation for the last 16 years, which is pretty awesome for a volunteer-driven charity. And we've raised approximately $1.5 million over that time. Though the pandemic has killed us, we've had a lot of trouble raising funds during the pandemic. We did make masks during the pandemic and we walked around and gave them away, giving back to the community. And doing that, we were able to make a couple of $1,000s in donations, which was really nice, considering there wasn't much else you could do. Mm-hmm. That's the whole basis of the organization. There are a lot of men and women who do suffer from who are diagnosed with breast cancer. And, in these communities, we only serve Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River counties. They're not the wealthiest communities. Therefore, there's a lot of need for the patients in these communities. So, that's basically what we do.
Well, so doesn't the people's health insurance cover cancer surgery or cancer treatment?
It does. It only pays a portion. As you know, there isn't any insurance out there that pays it 100%. So the remaining amount that's left for the patient or the recipient to pay, we help them with their portion of their treatments of whatever they may be going through at the time, whether it's a mammogram or a scan or lumpectomy and things of that sort. We assist them with paying those bills. That's their responsibility after their insurance has paid.
What about people who don't have insurance? There's probably a lot of them who are diagnosed as well.
Yes, we do help the uninsured patients as well. We help them find other resources to try and see if they can get disability or get Medicaid. And if not, then we negotiate with the doctor's offices for the services that they'll be receiving to help them get those bills paid.
As a volunteer-driven organization, how do you all find the time to do this? And tell me about both of you, Bonita and Robin, about your motivation. Why?
Well, I volunteered for other organizations in the past, cancer related, because though I have not suffered from breast cancer, I have had cancer, and cancer is cancer. And I feel like this organization, being one that actually pays the bills and is actually saving lives and tax dollars, is very worthy of volunteer hours. I mean, I think that the people in these counties actually do need the help. I mean, and it's sad sometimes. You see people come in who are absolutely devastated. Their credit cards are run up to the max. They have absolutely not a dime left, and they're hysterical, and you help them. And that's it really does warm your heart to be able to do that, which is why I do it.
And I myself, I used to work at UF, where we did brain and spine surgeries for people who had cancer. And then when I moved here to the Treasure Coast, I worked at a local oncologist office. So I've always been tied in to the cancer specialty. And this is another way for me to continue to help patients to go through their chemotherapy, and the system would take some of that stress away from going through chemotherapy or radiation by assisting them with their bills and being able to be there for them at any time when they want to talk and just let it out. Because sometimes you just have those conversations. They may just be having a hard day, and we're there for them to speak with and to help them find avenues of resources if there's something that we cannot help them with. Because we do help them if they're homeless. We try to help them, hook them up with the proper resources so they can find the things that they need and find a home.
But Nina, how many, are there a lot of people that you find have become homeless because they're in financial straits because of their disease?
Yes, there is. There's quite a few.
That's scary.
It is.
Especially now when there's no housing available.
Right.
It's very hard to help these people finding housing. There's just nothing out there at the moment.
And all three in Stewart, here in Port St. Lucie, or in Fort Pierce, currently there's nothing available. So it's quite a conundrum to try and find resources for the homeless recipients that we have, to try and get them back on their feet.
So if you were a realtor or a house owner listening to this and you wanted to help out, would people contact Friends in Pink and help and let you make the connection?
Yes, absolutely. They can certainly reach out to Friends in Pink, and we can get connected and figure out what resources that they would like to help offer to our recipients. We would greatly appreciate it.
In addition then to helping pay the bills, Friends in Pink also helps with resources and helps make the connections to help in the community.
Yes.
Yes, and we try to do that through every avenue we can. We have a list of people we can call, but we can always use a lot more people on that list. I mean, it's hard we don't want to ever tell anybody, no, we can't help you. So though we may only have a couple of hundred active at a time, we've probably helped a ton of people, thousands of people.
Yes.
Over
Absolutely.
the years.
It might not have been directly for breast cancer, but somehow they found us and they needed something, and we go through the process and find the information that they need that'll assist them. They may not be a breast cancer recipient, but anybody that comes to us for assistance, we try to get them referred out to the proper resources to assist them with whatever their need may be.
How do people connect with you?
Many, many different ways. Out in the community, you talk to people, and there's not one single time you'll meet somebody and say who you work for, and every single person has been touched with breast cancer or some kind of cancer. I don't think there's anybody you can talk to who hasn't. So it's through word of mouth, which we're trying to spread. And we have a website. Sometimes we'll get inquiries through the website, but most of them are phone calls and word of mouth.
Yes.
And you mentioned at the start of the show, Robin, that there are a lot of cancer charities, nonprofit organizations, and even breast cancer nonprofit organizations that are out there, but where Friends in Pink is different is it's very much a grassroots organization. You don't answer back to a national organization. So 100% of the funds you raise goes to your patients.
Almost 100%. I mean, obviously we have software, we have rent, but
Yeah.
almost 100% goes back to the recipients themselves. We do not have any executive board or any, I mean, we have a board locally, but they're all volunteers too. So, you know, we don't have anybody we answer to for that kind of.
And you don't have to send any money up to national that might go to research or something else. It's just your organization is purely grassroots and volunteer and service driven.
Exactly, exactly. You
So,
know, and I think that's another reason we feel so strongly about keeping it active and keeping it in the 3 counties. And that's the other thing is, you know, the money that we raise is going to help your neighbor, your sister, your aunt, somebody you know, because we're just doing the 3 counties. We're not sharing that money, you know, with the state, the country. It's just our 3 counties at this moment in time. Would we love to expand it? Maybe someday, but you know, right now we service Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River counties.
how does a patient then get in touch or request services from you or help?
Some of them come from the hospitals that are here in the area. We get a lot of referrals from the local surgeons, breast surgeons, or the oncologists or the radiation oncologists in the area. They are aware that our organization exists and they would refer their patient to us. We send them the application for them to complete with all the eligibility requirements. It then goes through review process by myself through the recipient coordinated services, and then I put it towards the board for approval for those recipients. And then we start to negotiate, wait on the bills to come in from the recipients and negotiate with them if we can, with their providers, and make the payments on the bills for the recipients.
Is there ever anybody that you can't help?
We try to never turn anybody down. I mean, in the negotiation process, like Benita said, I mean, a typical breast cancer treatment is about $356,000. Obviously, we can't pay that kind of bill, but you know, we've negotiated a lot of them down to 7,500. You know, we do our best to get it to a point where between the insurance and what we can do, we can help them out. And the negotiation is probably the hardest part of the entire process.
Isn't negotiation something that the patient can do themselves with the hospital or the physician's office?
They can, if they have the office or the hospital that they're going to has their own financial assistance program. We do suggest, and they may go ahead and do it on their own and apply for the internal assistance program, which will help offset their expenses even more. And if they don't start it, then we go ahead and do it on their behalf if it's something that we can do.
And we do get a lot of patients who come to us. I mean, a breast cancer diagnosis is pretty stressing. And they come to us not having a clue where to start. They just don't have any idea where to start. So we can at least point them in the direction of being able to negotiate on their own, as well as, you know, putting us in the middle for them. You know,
There's a lot of people who, you know, the thing about cancer is, and a lot of other diseases too, but specifically cancer, is someone can live a healthy lifestyle. They can eat great, they can exercise all the time, and they still get cancer. And when you get that cancer diagnosis, it comes out of left field. You're like, what?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Just had a phone call earlier this morning from a recipient with does exact sentiments that you just stated, that healthy all her life, been doing great. And then all of a sudden, back in February of this year, she got diagnosed with breast cancer. It's a stressful, stunning, shocking diagnosis, especially when you have lived your life correctly and you ate healthy and did all the best things for your health.
What are some of the, do you do like avoidance education too? Obviously, one of the biggest things that people can do is to get screening, because breast cancer has gotten to the point where if it's caught early enough, it's very curable.
Yes.
You're working on something with that, aren't you?
Yes, we're working, we're trying to collaborate with a local resource in reference to providing screening mammograms or the ultrasounds to at least if you have a recipient that's found or somebody that have gone to one of the resources and said, I've noticed this lump under my arm, but I don't have insurance. I'm working right now. I don't have the time to take off, but you're putting your health to the side. So providing them a free mammogram, at least they can be screened to see what is really going on, if it's something that needs definite to be moved upon quickly to get it caught and treated before it's too late. Because a lot of times, sometimes that happens because people just say, it's going to cost me too much money, I'm not going to deal with it, and I'm just going to put it out of my mind, which is absolutely the wrong thing to do.
And sometimes it's not a matter of not having the insurance, but it's a matter of not wanting to hear what could be bad news.
Yes.
Yep, that's true. That is true.
That is true.
But, just like fundraising, we try to get out in the community and provide them with these other avenues of treatment. Well, it's not really treatment, of diagnosis, so that, we do give back to the community at every chance we can. And at every, we really do try to do that. But cancer, what everybody needs to remember, and I know that everybody says the same thing, but cancer didn't sleep during COVID. Everybody still needed to be treated, and everybody still needed their chemo. And, so even though we weren't allowed to raise any funds, or we couldn't go out and raise funds, we were still paying. We were still paying bills for people who had to be treated. So, cancer, just like everything else, doesn't sleep. And it also does not discriminate. It will take anybody. It will take anybody.
When it comes to cancer diagnosis and the screening, I've seen vehicles out in the community that are like mammogram mobile type of things. And, a lot of times they're kind of out in the parking lot like a blood mobile would be, to try to make a screening more available and convenient for everybody. Do you know how people would find out about those?
It usually from the mobile unit doing it themselves. They usually have some type of advertisement or someone that they may be working with to advertise it. We're going to be set up here on this day, and if you know anybody, if you need of the age to go and get the mammogram screening, to please come and do just that.
So, we talked about the fact that you're a local grassroots organization, and as such, your funding, do you have any like national or state grant funding or anything, or is it all locally raised?
It's all locally raised currently. We are currently working on getting some grants in. In the past, we have had grants that help us to help a lot more recipients at the time, but currently right now we don't have any grants.
So you could probably use some help targeting those grants too. So
Absolutely.
there's probably a lot of different things that you need help with as far as volunteers. One thing I think this pandemic has taught us is you don't necessarily have to be available in person to to help, to do things.
Exactly.
Yep.
So how do people reach you?
We can be reached at our website, which is Friends in Pink,
Friends in dot pink.
friendsin.pink, excuse me. Our office number here, which is 772-785-8730, or they can come by the office, which is at 1024 Southeast Jensen Beach Boulevard, Jensen Beach, Florida.
And we also have an email address, which is info@friendsin.pink.
Okay, so it's friendsin.pink.
Yeah.
That's a really cool email address.
Yeah, most people think it's incorrect, but it's right. It's right.
It is. As a matter of fact, that the information on your website has a lot of there you can apply right for services and for help on the website.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of information about the Friends in Pink group, but there's also information about the fundraisers you have coming up. And, as you said, but Robin, especially this last year, it's been difficult to get out in the community and hold fundraisers. And so you are exiting the pandemic with a passion. You
Yes.
have a number of fundraisers. That was an interesting turn of phrase. So you have a number of different fundraisers. Generally, in typical times, you may have anywhere from 10 to 12 smaller fundraisers during the course of the year, because you try to do a variety of different things to bring in money. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Our goal, if we had enough volunteers, would be to have 3 fundraisers a month. It sounds like a lot, but you can do little things like occasionally we'll go to Roadhouse, and we'll be their dine and donate person, where we get a percentage of the everybody's bill. So, you can do those. We can do virtual auctions, but what we have coming up this year is on the 29th of June, we're having a celebrity chef event, which Sue Ellen is participating in. Yay! And it's going very well for us. I mean, I think it's going to be a great time. It's at Fujiyama in Stewart. And I think it's going to be a great time, and that's a good fundraiser. We're trying to fill in the pieces because our signature fundraiser used to be a luncheon. And we still have trouble with people wanting to go to a luncheon. I don't know why.
People you don't necessarily know, right?
No, exactly. So what we've done this year is we've opted for a glow-in-the-dark golf tournament, where we're going to Fairwinds Golf Course on the 2nd of October, and it starts at 7 in the evening, and people will have LED golf balls, and the course will be lit up where the pin is and where the flags are, and we'll have drinks and food, and hopefully we'll be able to set up the putting green so people can bring their families along, and the kids and the wives or the husbands, whichever is playing and which isn't, will be able to play on the little putting green and have little activities out there. So it can be a family event for everyone. So that we're doing on the 2nd of October. And then this one's really unique. On the 23rd and 24th of October, we're doing a bonsai gathering at the Port St. Lucie Botanical Gardens. We're going to have on the 2 days, master gardeners, master bonsai people there who are going to create bonsais, which we will auction off. And there'll be a whole bunch of vendors out there with bonsai stuff, like the pots and the cutters and the whatever, and bonsais to sell. So that's a new one.
People will actually be able to watch the masters create bonsai?
Absolutely, absolutely. And then we'll raffle those off. I mean, I never understood, I guess, about how a bonsai works and how you can get a bougainvillea with a really pretty trunk and make it a bonsai. And it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's just, so I think the bonsais, I think it's going to be an interesting event for us. I really do. I really think it'll be kind of cool for us to do that.
That's definitely something different. Well, let's go back and revisit the one that you have coming up right around the corner, the Celebrity Chef event, because as Cliff, my producer, so nicely points out, that I'm the former chili cook-off champion. I won for, well, actually, I didn't win. My husband and I won for best chili at the Boys and Girls Club Chili Cook-Off a few years ago. So that was pretty exciting.
That
Now,
is pretty exciting.
cooking chili and preparing hibachi are really way different. And it's what I really like about this fundraiser, Robin, as you pointed out, it's the type of thing where if you've been to Fujiyama or one of the hibachi places, and people have separate tables. And so each of your celebrity chefs has the ability to invite 10 to maximum 12 people to sit at their table. So you can be sure, say, for example, all of my guests that are sitting at my table are all friends of mine, and they're all vaccinated, and they're all careful people. So you come in to the fundraiser, you've already purchased your ticket, so all you have to do is check in, and then you go to my table, where you spend the evening interacting with those 10 or 12 people only at my table.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like a good way to kind of get your feet wet into the fundraising and going out in fundraisers ability. And I thought it was a great idea, and I appreciate you asking me now. I'm excited about the number of chefs I've seen since you first asked me. There were maybe 5 or 6 chefs that had confirmed, and now you have more than 10.
We have 10. We have 10 chefs, and they're, I mean, we put this out on Facebook, I think on Monday, and we've got a lot of tickets sold. I mean, it's going fast and furious out there with the ticket sales, and the tables filling up. And your tables are filling up. I did get a couple more this afternoon.
Oh,
So
good.
I think it's just going to be a fun time, because we have all different levels of chefs there. We have one that is a chef, and then we have
yeah.
people who say, oh my God, don't let the chef leave me. I have no clue what I'm doing. You know, so I think it's just going to be an interesting, you know, look at it. And you can go to our website and you can donate even, you know, you can look at who the chefs are, and then you can donate tips to their jars, because the chef that raises the most tip money is the one who wins the contest. So,
And
you know,
as much as I'd love to win anything, and I'm very competitive by nature, the big winner will be Friends in Pink, and those patients who are getting extra help to pay their bills, or, you know, as you said, it could make the difference whether they live or die, whether they get the treatment or the screening that they need.
Any money that we raise, it will allow us to help the next person that comes along that needs assistance.
So if you have not been personally contacted by somebody who's one of the celebrity chefs, you can still go online to the Celebrity Chef event at the Friends in Pink website, and you can still donate. If you donate, you can donate to the person, right? You can.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
How do you distinguish for people who are donating and people who are purchasing tickets at the table?
I have 2 websites. One, they bought the ticket through the ticket website, and then I match them up. And match the numbers up, so I know who's, you know, I look at the paid site and I match the ticket site up and I print everybody's tickets out for them. So that's how I know, which ones are which. So, but there are some very competitive people out there. I have to tell you, there's a gentleman that has a golf teaching class, and the musician, and they're neck and neck. They just keep going neck and neck. One gets one at the table, the other one gets one. And I think they're up to 8 now at their table. So, and then I have somebody who's got almost $400 in tips, but only 2 people at her table. So it's interesting to see how it's laying out, but I think it's going to be a really fun time. I really do think we're going to have a good time.
One of the people that's at my table, Sydney Liebman, is a craftsperson extraordinaire. And she has posted on Facebook a little mini auction of some of her handmade things, including a stitch blanket, one of those big stitch hand stitched blankets. And so she's posting that as a little mini auction with the money raised to go to my entry. So
nice. That's really nice. That is really nice.
And so, we're talking about the chefs, and one of them is an actual chef. So let's talk about the people that you have committed, because Jennifer Wiggins, my friend at Clear Stem Solutions, is the one who first asked me if I was interested in doing this. But you also have, I know, Damian Spots with the Fort Pierce Police Department. He's confirmed. Johnny Burrell with Burrell Golf. That's the golfer you were talking about.
The competitive one, yep.
Yeah. Kelly Bragg, who's a realtor with Atlantic Shores Realty.
Correct.
And her son and my son went to elementary school together.
Oh, did they really? Did they play football too at PSLAA? Because everybody did.
No. My son was the drama kid. He wasn't.
Oh, okay.
But probably Cody, Kelly's son, did.
Oh, yes, he did. Cody absolutely did. Actually, Cody just had a baby.
Yes, he did. He did.
Yeah.
And then Kevin McLaughlin, who is a musician.
Yes, and he's competitive too. He's got his table almost full.
That's awesome. The cake lady, Stacy Dunn,
who's a breast cancer survivor.
Yes.
So,
and then of course, Jennifer, I had already mentioned. Now, I just have in front of me the original flyer, but every time I see that flyer posted, I see more chefs who have signed on to help raise money for this. And I know Douglas Baber is one of them, because that young man is practicing on a hibachi grill at home. And I am really worried, because should I be practicing with knives? And should I be, that doesn't seem like a safe thing for me personally.
That's kind of what Jennifer said. Jennifer said, I don't know how to cook. That chef better stay near me. They do have chefs that roam, and I'm like, you better pay him off. I don't know, Jen. I don't know what
chefs that roam. You mean that I won't have somebody with me the whole time?
No, he's going to be roaming. So,
oh my goodness.
If nobody's near you, you're doing a great job. We also have a Dr. Gary Bradley, who's from Jupiter Medical Specialists.
Well, that's awesome. And who else do you have that I didn't mention? Was there anybody else?
You got Damian Spots, Doug Baber, Dr. Gary Bradley, Jennifer Wiggins, Johnny Burrell, Kelly Bragg, Kevin McLaughlin, Matt Piscatelli.
Yeah. Oh, he's the flavored pork. He's a chef too.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we have how to use knives.
Yeah, well, that's not fair, really. And then it is you and Stacy Dunn. So there's 10 altogether. So
well, it should be stated that I'm not competing based on my ability to make an onion volcano. Right?
Yes. Into your hat or whatever they do.
So Douglas posted a little video online that showed him practicing the onion volcano, and he's
Oh.
pouring liquid in, I mean, he is
Oh,
serious.
he's committed. He's
Yeah.
seriously committed.
And
I do-
That's
he
good.
said- He said that I said, well, what is the liquid that you're pouring in? And he said that it was a Chinese secret called vodka.
I don't know, that could be tough. I do have to say that both Jennifer Wiggins and Christine Ioannidis have been extremely helpful to me in this whole project, extremely helpful.
That's awesome.
Done a fantastic job. You know, it's sometimes hard when you're a not-for-profit to get out and network with people, but
Yes.
I need to learn how to do that better so that I can get out there and I know as many people as they do, though I don't think that's possible.
Jennifer's a pro, and so is Christine. I noticed though that even though Jennifer helping to organize it has stepped up as a chef, Christine has pushed her boyfriend forward to step up as a chef.
I think I shamed Jennifer into it. I called her one day and I said, okay, well, you're doing the flyer. I said, how about you be a chef? And she's like, I have family coming in. And I'm like, well, you can bring them with you. So
Then your table is automatically filled.
There you go.
I'm hoping she has a brand new baby. Well, not brand new. He's almost 6 months old now. He is as cute as he could be, little Carter. And I'm
Yep.
hoping that she has members of her family that bring Carter, because he is, oh my gosh, babiness perfection. He is so cute. So at any rate, there's people that are involved in this who, you know, Stacy, as you said, is a breast cancer survivor. I am not, and most of the other people on as celebrity chefs are not. But I'll tell you what, all of us have had friends or relatives who have been touched by cancer. The percentage of people that have had experience being touched by cancer, I think now it is 1 in 4 women at my age have been affected by. Am I correct? Yes.
And the other thing to remember is it's not just a woman's disease.
Yeah.
And a lot of men are ashamed to go get tested and they don't check, but there are men who have breast cancer, and we've helped men also, but it's, they need to understand that they can get it as well as anybody else can get it. I think it's estimated that 250,000 people were diagnosed with an invasive breast cancer diagnosis.
And as you stated before, a stage 1 breast cancer diagnosis is something that's very survivable. But if it's not diagnosed and not treated, then it progresses into something. Yeah. So what Friends in Pink does is it makes you have no way of knowing who is being touched by cancer or not, but you can make a difference helping people survive it.
Yep, we can. We definitely can. I mean, it's and all of the people who help us, they're our heroes because they help us to help those people.
Yes.
So they are also heroes in these patients' lives.
Because without the donations or the money that we receive from the events, we wouldn't be able to help these recipients. So the whole community becomes a hero to our recipients.
If you can, and of course you don't have to share any names, could you share with us some stories of people that you have helped that have come to you in the past?
Well, I happen to have one here. There was a young lady, and this is not her name. She was her Crystal, one of our recipients, and her story is one this is why we do it. Crystal will tell you her breaking point was when she literally said, I can't do this anymore. I have nothing left. She had received a bill for $356,000 for breast cancer treatment. Crystal was thrust past her breaking point and overtaken by fear for her family's future. Tears gushed from her eyes and made small puddles on the kitchen table. She was mentally, emotionally, and financially drained. Her savings, personal time off, and vacation days were all gone. Every credit card she owned before treatment and the additional ones that she applied for were maxed out. Crystal felt overwhelmed and hopeless, and her life was broken. And we were able to help her. And there are many people like this. She's just one of the ones that she had a rough road. She just had a rough road.
And yet, she was blessed that she had friends and family, and she had a job, and she had credit cards.
Right.
And there are people who don't even have all of those things.
Exactly.
That are starting from scratch.
But they still worry about what happens if I pass away. What's going to happen to my family with all of this debt now that I've run up? Or even if you survive, how do I get out of this debt? It's not pretty for some of these people. And I can understand how they get to their breaking point. It's just like, there's nowhere for me to go. There's no help for me. It's just doom. And, that's not a good attitude to have when you're fighting breast cancer or any cancer or any disease.
We just try to reassure them that we're there for them. We will assist with helping paying their bills and getting them negotiated. And if they have a need in any other function of their life while they're going through the chemotherapy, then please let us know, and we can find out the resources for them to refer them to. So those worries don't have to be in the forefront, and they can just concentrate on going through their chemotherapy or their radiation and taking it one day at a time and recovery. It's a great thing.
I'm not going away. I was closing the door because our next door neighbors have lawn work going on.
Doesn't that always happen though? That's always the way it works. The babies cry, dogs bark, or the lawn man comes.
Yeah. But I just, realize that this is something that so many thousands of people go through every day. And when I was, in my 40s, one of my best friends at the time was diagnosed with breast cancer. And she had quite a large friends and family support group, and her husband was so supportive. But there were days that she was so down and she was so worried. And then a few years later, the breast cancer came back. And then she was looking at the statistics about, what happens when you have reoccurring breast cancer. But I'm happy to say that it's 20 years later and her breast cancer has not returned again. That she is healthy. She just celebrated her adult daughter's wedding and her adult son's wedding and her grandchild's birth. So, but the reason that she was lucky was because she made her own luck. She got the treatment she needed. She continued to have a positive outlook, and she was surrounded by a network of people who could continue to help her. But I know for talking about a story like that, I also know that at the same time, there was a woman who was a teacher at the kids' elementary school at that same time. And she was diagnosed for the first time with breast cancer, and she passed away a year later. So, you know, there are people who, you know, I know that when you're younger and you're diagnosed with breast cancer, it tends to be, if I remember correctly, a more virulent type of cancer. And it's a scary thing, but as you get older, more frequently you have friends and family. You look around and, you know, you could go in any office or in any gathering, and most likely in that gathering you have someone who has been diagnosed with breast cancer. And one of my closest friends now also is a 2-time breast cancer survivor. So it was hard for them, especially to get through the pandemic, because the people I know that were cancer survivors were, of course, even more at risk and even more worried about coming out and being around people.
Yep. And I'll bet you if we asked that room full of 120 some odd people on the 29th, how many people have been touched by breast cancer, I bet we get more than 50%. I would bet we get more than 50%. And, you know, and they don't all have that family. You know, they depend
Support
on
system.
us to support them, you know, both mentally and financially, you know, and we're happy to do that. That makes us feel better about everything, you know, so.
And it is frequently important. It's always important for those who are going through the breast cancer diagnosis or any type of cancer diagnosis to have that support, to have that positive, upbeat, you could beat this type of response, because while it is a serious disease and people do die from it, it's also so survivable if they're treated and diagnosed on a timely basis. So you help also with getting tests too, not just the treatment of cancer patients, but also those patients, those people who might reach out to you and say, I know I'm due for a mammogram and I think I have a lump under my arm, but I need to be tested. You help those folks as well?
Yes, we do. We coordinate with a local radiology facility, and they allow so many to come and have the mammograms done for free as on a charity basis.
And I know during October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, that there are a lot of different things that are held that offer, if not free, reduced price mammograms for anyone who has, you know, it could be that you have cancer in your family, or it could be that your friend was just diagnosed and you know you're of an age and you want to get yourself checked out. And of course, you know, your GYN will tell you too that one of the biggest ways to watch and take care of yourself is self-exam, for you to keep an eye. Nobody knows your body like you know your body. And
But somebody who finds a lump today can't wait until October, because that's really too long, even, you know, even though it's already June, but still a long time for, you know, to find treatment.
There's 2 mobile units in the area that does the mammograms. One does it at a reduced price, and there's another one that actually does it for free.
so you can share that information as well on your website.
Yes.
Mhm.
And you could also locate where those traveling
Mobile unit.
mobile units are. And, you know, sometimes you need to make an appointment ahead of time. And sometimes, especially if you have a concern and you feel a lump or you feel something that's different, you can get right in because, you know, the way to make sure that you're treated and then make sure that you are successfully handling any type of disease like that is that early detection and diagnosis and also treatment. So how timely is your response to patients who reach out to you?
It's pretty timely. I get the messages immediately. And if it's a Bonita follow-up, she gets them 2 minutes after me.
Right, and I get right on the phone and call the recipients and, or whoever placing a call and see how we can assist them.
Robin, you'd also mentioned that, you know, your patients hail from Martin County, Indian River County, and St. Lucie County, but in fact, there's quite a number of them that are from St. Lucie County that call.
St. Lucie County is our biggest.
So, and you're located, you have the office in Jensen Beach. We just have a couple minutes more. So again, the website is friendsin.pink.
Mhm.
And then the office is located.
1024 Jensen Beach Boulevard.
Do people need to call before they come, or is there somebody there?
We're only here 2 days a week, unfortunately, but they can call and we'll return their call because I pick up messages all day, every day.
Which
So
2 days are you there?
Wednesday, I'm the one who's here. I'm here Wednesday from 10 to 2 and Monday 10 to 12. We
Okay.
don't get a lot of visitors. I
No,
don't know why. They'd rather call.
And I can understand that because it's something where, you know, people are worried, they're scared, and they're reaching out to strangers. So, well, Robin Young and Bonita Ballou have been my guests. We've been talking to them about Friends in Pink. The website again is friendsin.pink, and they have fundraisers coming up, including the Celebrity Chef fundraiser coming up. Thank you, ladies, for joining me today.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And
Have a
we'll
great
see
day.
everybody next week with more. Have a great week.